Hello everyone, hope you're happy and healthy. Welcome to the Golf Club 2019. This video is just going to give you a quick tutorial on some of the stuff that you can do as a very basic intro to the game of the Golf Club. I'm currently playing on PC using a PS4 controller. Just to get started here, if you want to change what your golfer looks like, you just got to go to Edit Golfer with his appearance, clothing, and as you progress in the storyline, which is just here in the PGA Tour career, you open up and unlock more clothing options. So I like what my guy's wearing right now. I'm not going to change anything there. If you're looking to change the clubs that you carry in your golf bag, you just go into here, golf bag, and this is what I'm carrying. So just a driver and a 3-wood, which is what I carry in my bag in real life, and then a 2-iron down to a lob wedge. In the game, the gap wedge is just too close to distance to the pitching wedge, in my opinion, and you really miss out on having a sand wedge, 100-yard, 110-yard club in your bag if you don't have one. So I recommend going pitching wedge, sand wedge, lob wedge, and this sort of allows you to have a diverse number of shots that you can play with the short game, which is, in my opinion, one of the most challenging aspects of this game, the short game. So if you're looking to play the story, you can go down here and learn what it's like to start. I think the web.com tour is where you start off, and then you progress to the PGA tour afterwards, which is where I'm currently at. But if you're just looking to play a match with friends or online with the matchmaking, you click on local match here on the side, just like so. There's a lot of different options here, but the local match I think is where I've had the most fun with this game. And then you can select the course that you want to play here, and there's a ton of different options for you to play. The game will offer you some of their official courses, some of the best ranked fan courses, but I'm just going to go here to more filters, and of course you can search for ones if you know the name, friend courses if you have some friends that have designed courses on the game, and then of course you can favorite the tracks that you like the most. And in this particular case, I'm going to take the Kermode Club. It's made by Crazy Canuck 1985, and it's based in Whistler, BC, and this is nearby where I live and is a fairly challenging track to play. So I'm going to give it a shot here, and hopefully this allows me to make some mistakes in the game because it's such a challenging course, and thus allow me to teach some tips and tricks that I've learned myself while playing. So I'm just going to play with the standard course conditions and time of day. We're just going to get started and play from the blue tees, which is basically the championship yardage, and then just begin the round. Guys, if you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe and drop me a like if you learned something in this video that you maybe didn't know before. As we look at the first hole, par 4, 486 yards, sort of down the hill. It's got a sort of left to right meander, a lot of bunkerage on the right and left, so you have to have a straight drive. Obviously it's intended to create a little bit of a challenge for you right off the bat. Stroke index 9, so in theory this is right down the middle as far as challenging holes. We'll just drive one hopefully right down the middle. Keep in mind the wind. That's something that you have to take into account. Let's make sure I've put this far enough right. There we go. And just try to have your swing pathing go as much down the middle as possible. This wasn't a great example, but it should stay in the fairway. Well, I've hit it right through. So this is a good example because right off the bat I've hit it into the rough. And my style of play, both in real life and in the Golf Club 2019, is to play the smartest shot that I can. So up in the top right, you can see heavy rough, 71 to 78%, which means basically how far you'll hit the ball in relation to this circle that's in the middle of your screen. So for me, 5-iron's not going to get there. The green is also up 35 feet, so I don't know if a 5-iron would get there if I was in the fairway. So I'm going to have to give it more club if I want to get it up on the green. But we also want to keep in mind here that there are some greenside bunkers right in front of the green, which makes it challenging in the sense that they sort of protect the green area from any entering shots. Even if I was just in the fairway, it's a bit of a challenge, but it makes it extra challenging because I'm in the rough. So here's what I would look like doing if I had it in the fairway. Maybe a 4-iron to get it up the 35 feet, get it up the incline. But because I'm in the rough, I'm going to have to either give it more club or put it off to the right and use this bailout area, which I'm going to do. But I'm just going to, like I said, hopefully lay a 5-iron up here. It comes out a little bit hot because I'm in the rough. As you can see, my lie is ball above feet. So again, that just means for those of you that don't play a lot of golf in real life, that usually just means that the ball will come out as a left-handed swing. It'll move left to right in the air because the ball is above my feet. So I'm just going to put it up here on the green. I'm anticipating that it ends up on the right side of the fairway. We're up 35 yards, but we've got 14-mile-an-hour winds going right to left. So this is a very challenging shot, as is. It might not even get up to the green, but let's give it a whack. So a decent swing on it. It should be short. Yes, so it's going to be short and on the right side in the fairway, which is pretty much where I wanted to put it. Maybe a little bit shorter. Now I'm in the fairway and I have a short approach shot, which I could use a lob to just pitch it. And we're up 14 feet, so this won't go as far as that circle indicates. Remember, the ball is below my feet now, so it'll come out a little bit left as is. Up 14 feet, so I'll leave it about here. And it'll be definitely short of the cup when I pitch it onto the green. But fingers crossed it'll roll up. We'll see where it goes here. Yeah, so that stopped up quite nicely. I'm maybe 10 feet. Now, that's obviously a long putt for par, especially with these greens. They're very challenging. Crazy Canuck has some awesome courses, and these tend to be challenging putts to make from about 11 feet. So putting is almost definitely the hardest aspect of this game. We can see here with the dots moving away from us that means the downhill putt. So it's only down about 2 inches. So I want to leave it a little bit short on the swing. But because the putt is downhill, the break is going to take it even more so than if I was putting on level ground or uphill. So I have to keep that in mind. I'll give it a little bit extra on the break and try to sink a par putt here. Just tap it down the hill and it's going to go below. So as I said, we have to know that when you're putting downhill, that break is going to take it a little bit extra than it normally would if you're putting on level ground or uphill. So I've actually left it further than when I started, but it's uphill, so I should be able to make this putt. And there we go. So I made my bogey. Not the best start, especially on a stroke index 9, but we move on. Big, long par 5. 629 yards, stroke index 11, which means it's, again, a mid-tier as far as challenging holes on the course. Again, these bunkers are sort of placed exactly where you would drive a ball, so you have to keep those in mind when you're swinging. So I pushed it. Let's see where this one ends up. Should be in the fairway. And just up on the upper tier, as we can see, it's super downhill. So if you land it more to the right of where I shot, which is where I was hoping the ball would end up, it can run down this hill quite significantly. And we hit down into this beautiful greenside pond. So I'm going to just put a 2-iron, so leave myself a little bit of yardage into the green. I don't like hitting those 60-yard shots, so I've pulled that one, but the wind should keep it fairly straight. It has. Land it right down the hill, and now we hit into the waterfall, which is just beautifully designed by Crazy Canuck. Awesome course design. So down 1 foot. Now sandwich, as you can see, it's going to put us in the water, so we don't want that, obviously. Pitching wedge will put us way over. So I have 2 choices. I can hit a softer pitching wedge, which I find quite challenging. We also can look in on this green here and see that the ball will come back towards us if you hit it up there, which is kind of nice. It'll suck back towards the hole. I think I'm just going to hit a softer pitching wedge. The ball is just a little bit below my feet, so it'll come out a little bit left. And of course, then we've got to keep in mind the wind. Also, if you pressed the left trigger, or L2, you can pull up this box that's on the right-hand side. And so I'm putting this as a higher loft in order to get the ball to stop immediately and then hopefully roll back down towards the hole. So I've given that a full swing. Fingers crossed that it goes where I want it to. Oh, and it's turned out excellent. So I've given myself a birdie opportunity right off the bat here on the second hole to make up that bogey that I just made on the last hole. Okay, so down the hill again. I don't want to hit it too hard. On the last hole, I hit it way too hard. And we also have to keep in mind, left to right, it's going to break more because it's going down the hill. I'll leave it up here and just try to tap it down. So it hasn't rolled enough down the hill. We're going to make an easy par here, just like so. Okay, so we're up on the hill. Again, this is one of those challenging holes. The actual design of this is awesome, but it is meant to be challenging. So the wind's going back against us, but it's a 55-foot drop. So keep in mind, like if I hit a 7-iron here, it's going to shoot it way past the green. So we don't want to do that. 8-iron should be enough, I'd imagine, because the wind is knocking the ball back, but it's so far of a drop. That's probably a 2 or 3 club length drop, but the wind is knocking it backwards. So maybe it's only 1 or 2 clubs. We'll see. This might even be too much, but give it a hit anyways. So this one will probably end up left of the hole. It's enough club. It's the right club to use, I think. And it's just going to stay pretty much right where it lands. And I'm okay with that. Again, the hardest aspect of this game, definitely putting. So it's going to move a little bit left to right at the start, which you'll probably hit through the break, and then pretty much the rest of the way it'll go right to left. So you'll hit essentially through the break at the start. It'll move it left to right, and then the rest of the way to the cup, right to left. And it's gone past. Unfortunate. It's gone well past. Bit of a challenge to make this putt back. Up the hill, left to right. 10-footer for par. And drops right in the center of the cup. Awesome. We move on to the fourth, 1 over. It's a par 4. Stroke index 3, which indicates it's one of the more challenging holes on the course. That stroke index is, I believe, determined as sort of like an aggregate score of all the players that play the course, and then puts that aggregate as the stroke index. So it's not determined by the course creator, at least I don't believe. I'm almost positive that's based on people that are playing the course and the scores that they're getting on those particular holes. So we hit into another beautiful green. And what I find so awesome about this course is that it just reminds me of what Whistler actually is like. Awesome that Crazy Canuck has a golf course that looks something like this. It's fictional, but it looks entirely realistic. So this is up 14 feet, which might be a club length distance, but the wind is going with us. So I'm actually going to hit an 8-iron and try to use the wind to draw this ball right towards the cup. Will it be enough? I think it just might be. Oh yeah, that's a great shot. 10 feet, maybe 15 feet for birdie. Pin high, another challenging green. But if we can make a birdie or a par on a stroke index 3, I'll be quite happy. It's uphill, left to right. And there you go, it drops in for birdie. So I've birdied the stroke index 3, brings me back to level par through 4 holes. Hole 5, down the hill. 532 yards, stroke index 5, so another challenging hole. And this one is challenging because of the distance. Obviously, any par 4 that's above 500 yards is a massive hole. Very hard to hit the green at 2, and especially hard when the wind is blowing against you. So let's give it a shot here. Hopefully haven't sliced that into the bunker. I think it'll stay in the fairway though. Let's see where the kick is. It's a good kick for us. Unfortunately, the wind has just basically stopped that ball in its track. Only 280 yards, which leaves me a huge shot into the green. That's down 8 feet, and the wind is pushing against us. So it'll probably cancel itself out. So the ball's way above our feet, so the ball will come out to the right. The wind is also pushing it to the right. So let's sort of aim up the hill a little bit here and hope that it runs down left to right as we hit it. It's a good swing. Let's hope it stays up. It's not going to stay up. We're going to end up in the bunker here, greenside bunker, which is a great opportunity to show how to hit a ball out of the bunker. So we're going to hit a pitching wedge out of the bunker. Not ideal, but it's so uphill that we have to give it a little more club. The reason I'm aiming to the left of the hole here is because of the fact that the ball is just a little above my feet here. Now out of the sand, the ball does release a little bit. So it lands, sort of checks, and then releases. So we don't want to put it too close to the hole ever. You want to leave maybe 10-15 feet ahead of the ball, but we're uphill. So I don't anticipate that this ball will land anywhere near this circle. It will land below the circle, and then we've got an uphill roll. So this will end up short of the cup either way. I'm almost positive of that. Let's put a swing on it. And it's checked, and as we can see, it released. And look at that. What a shot out of the bunker. So it's actually ended up just above the hole, but just marginally so. As I said, the ball will release out of the sand. It doesn't check immediately unless you put high loft on it. But it ended up being a great shot out of the bunker to save our par with a great up and down on a challenging hole as well. Very happy with that 4. We move on to the 6th, stroke index of 15. So this, in theory, is one of the easier holes on the course. But if you just look at this bunkerage, I mean, it's awesome, but it's challenging. So we're going to hit a 3-wood up the hill. It's 8-mile-per-hour wind against us. So, of course, this ball won't quite get to where our marker is. But it'll get fairly close with the run. So just let it run up the hill a little bit, and this will leave us a fairly lengthy shot into a green that's above our feet. Let's see here. Well, okay, so it's 135 yards, but the lie of the green is 40 feet up above where we are right now, where the ball is lying. And then the wind as well is 10 miles an hour against us. So I'm going to hit an 8-iron. As you can see by the green, the ball will come back down the hill. So I will just let that ball land near the back of the green, hopefully, or the middle of the green, and then drift back towards the cup. You don't want to go over this green, obviously. As you can see, there's a huge cliff right after the hole that's being held up by some fences. Again, just awesome club design by Crazy Canuck. Put a little bit of draw on that, not intentionally, but 8-iron was the right club, I believe. I've just pulled a little bit more than I wanted to, and it's ended up maybe 20 feet from the hole, 21 feet, and it's level, but it moves very quickly right to left. So I'm going to aim well above the hole and just tap it and leg it up towards that cup. And that's not great, not terrible. I'll leave it there. Should just be a tap in for the par. The trick with putting I've found is to not hit it too hard. I haven't exactly followed my own advice in this particular round, but for the most part I've found that hitting the ball softly on that putting green is the best way to get it to hit the break properly. This should put this ball right towards the end of the fairway because we've got the wind going with us and it's massively downhill. Just another great design on this hole. They've got that big sort of lake or pond right next to the fairway. Adds a little bit of a challenge. Okay, so this hole is up 6 feet, but the wind is with us 10 miles an hour. You have to contend with the water. So I'm going to keep it a little bit to the left here. Keep in mind that the wind is going to pull this ball to the right. The ball is a little bit below my feet, so of course that means a little bit of a slice with the shot shape. Let's hit this 2-iron, see if we can put it on the green. A little bit to the left. As you can see, my swing path was wonky. I don't know how that ended up happening. So that's a full swing right there. I don't want to hit it that high. Instead, I want to hit it maybe this high and swing through. And get it to land there. Hopefully run up the hill. So it's died a little bit before where I was anticipating it would. But that's the idea. On a shot where you're hitting out of the, you're making a short play, so like a flop shot or a chip or a punch anywhere near the green, you're gonna have to sort of pick and choose your shot with the tempo of your club, because if you hit it full swing, obviously it's not going to always end up where you want it to go, because you might not have the right club in your bag. So let's make this putt 24 feet for birdie. Put it below the hole. The right speed on that putt, but unfortunately not the right read. So I'll just tap in for par. And par is always a great score, so you'll never hear me complain about a par. We come to stroke index number 1, so the most challenging hole on the golf course, and you can definitely see why. A huge ravine that you have to hit over onto a tiny green surface at 210 yards, so extraordinarily long, and then just another huge cliffside at the back of the green. So to get this ball to anywhere near the hole, you're going to have to hit a 2-iron or a 3-wood. The problem is it's down 43 feet. So you're having to make a little bit of a guess as well with which club you're wanting to use. 4-iron, I'm concerned with the wind. It's not going to get there. I'm even concerned with the 3-iron. You leave this short and you're almost definitely in the ravine and playing again. For a 3, you pretty much might as well go for the green because there's no bailout to the right that's any shorter. So we'll play with the 3-iron and hope that the wind doesn't hold up this ball too much. It's a good swing as long as it gets there. Oh, right on the front of the green in the rough. And let's just chip it. Now, when you're reading a chip, make sure you keep in mind which way the green is moving. So right to left in this case for me. I want to put it right around here. It's going to land a little bit shorter, obviously, because it's 73 to 80%. And then I'm going up the hill and right to left. So the ball is just a little above my feet, which is fine. And I'm going to want to put a full chip on this. So I could have aimed it a little more to the right, but I'm quite happy with the result. Keep in mind that a chip runs out quite far, I've found in this game, so you want to put it well in front of the hole. And now a big par putt here. This is a challenging putt, very hard green here, up the hill, left to right, and I've drained it. So I've parred the toughest hole on the course with an awesome up and down, and I'm on my way to the second easiest hole. So I've made it through some of the most challenging pieces of the course. Definitely the most beautiful holes that they've got created here at the Kermode Club in Whistler, British Columbia, Canada. Another great hole here, very realistic. If you've golfed up in Whistler, you know that this is pretty much what it looks like. So awesome design by Crazy Canuck. 71 feet below your tee box here, so this is a drivable green. The challenge is not hitting it into the water. So we're going to hit it off to the left here and really hope that this ball doesn't end up in the water. That's how they sort of get you on this hole. Let's see if it gets over this left-hand side. It should. And it's landing on the green, which is good. And hopefully it runs, because big long putts on this game can really be a killer. So I don't know, this looks like it's maybe 50 or 60 feet. Well, I've really left it short. So I did leave it 60 feet short. It's a big putt. I have to get it up onto this tier of the green, so I'm really going to hit it hard and pretty much hit it through any break, but I will leave it a little bit to the right of the cup. Got to get up that hill so it doesn't roll back down, and it has just stayed. So really difficult to get those putts close, but here's a birdie putt from 10 feet, just a little bit right to left. Gonna aim inside the cup. Does it have the legs? It does. And I've drained the birdie putt. So through 9, 1 under, 35, just the bogey on the first hole. Let's go to the back 9. 610 yard, par 5 down the hill, stroke index 16. Let's put it into the fairway, hopefully, right down here. And it is going to stay in the fairway and run down the hill. This green is also very well protected by some greenside bunkers, so there's almost no reason to go for this green in 2, even if you have the wind with you and had the length. I'm just going to hit a iron towards this big open fairway here. So hopefully this should end up at the fairway. Looks like it will. And then I've just got to carry these greenside bunkers in order to put it on the green in regulation here. I do want to get it up on this tier of the green. So it's up 8 feet. A lob wedge should put it just on that front edge on the left side there with the wind. And hopefully it'll roll in towards the cup. So I've definitely pushed that one on the swing path, but I think it'll end up okay. Hopefully it rolls a little to the right. Just pretty much stuck where it landed, and that's okay. 30 feet for the birdie. It's one of those double breakers. So a little bit right to left at the start, and then a little bit left to right towards the end. So I'll just put it a little bit outside the cup here. Let's see if this one cuts back at the end. What a putt, 30 feet for birdie on this par 5. I'm now 2 under through 10 holes. We go to the 11th. A lot of awesome bunkering on this course. The tree line, very realistic as well. That's a fair landing size for the ball, but I'm worried of it not quite getting there because of the wind and the elevation change. So let's put it back here and just use a 4-iron off the tee. And it'll leave us a little bit of distance into the green, but it's not a super long hole, so it shouldn't be a long iron in. Just a pitching wedge. Up 19 yards though, and the wind is against us. So let's club up. You can tell by the way that elevation changes on the green that this one will be a bit of a challenge, but let's see. This is about a 2 club distance, so well, I'm worried of using an 8. I feel like this will run way to the back of the green. But a 9 might be short, and of course we don't want to be short here. We've got the bunker to contend with. So let's aim it a little bit to the left, and maybe it'll roll onto the green here. Well, okay, look, something I didn't take into account is that the ball is way below my feet, so it'll come out left. So let's just keep it towards the right side of the pin and hope that it runs to the left, which it has. Not enough club though, as I predicted. An 8-iron definitely would have been the way to play this hole. The wind is a fairly large factor that you have to keep in mind when playing the Golf Club 2019. So this is just a little flop, and hopefully the ball will sort of land and stop, because obviously the wind is a little bit of a factor, and the elevation that brings this ball back towards the pin hopefully is a factor as well. And let's check. And will it run back? It will, just for a couple inches. Now we put this one on the left hand side. Remember, downhill putt, extra break. Let's try to remember that as we putt towards this hole for the par. Challenging par putt here. And unfortunately I've hit it through the break, and my character just about threw his club into the ravine. But it is a long bogey putt now. 9 feet up the hill. Easily drain it. Uphill putts, you don't have to read the break so much, because obviously when you hit any putt uphill, whether in the golf club or in real life, you don't need to worry about the break so much because you're hitting it harder, therefore through the break. But when you're hitting downhill, you have to really factor in that break, because that ball will continue to roll well after, just to get it moving. It rolls down the hill, therefore catching more of the break, but then the break also carries that ball after sort of the normal power of hitting it. So just something to keep in mind when you're playing the game is that the ball will continue to roll after you think it should stop, because the elevation of that green sort of drags that ball down. Okay, so the wind, again, protecting this green is a nice pair of bunkers. So the wind is going to pull this ball from left to right. We do want to keep it a little bit short. Hopefully this is enough club. I can see this landing in the bunker, but let's try to land it on this tier of the green. Will it make it? Oh, just barely. Get up there. And it's worked out very nicely for me. Let's see if we can get that stroke back here that we lost in the last hole. Another tough putt. Right to left. These are always challenging. Any putt that moves away from your body, whether you're a lefty or a righty, is always challenging in my opinion. Watching that ball slide away. So let's put it just 10 feet. So put it here. Nice and soft. And again, we've left it below the hole. I was trying to hit it nice and soft. I've obviously hit it too hard on the last few holes here that I've had these ones slide away from me. And I've done it again. But we make our par, and we move on to the next hole. Par 4, 355 yards down the hill. So we can use a driver and capitalize on the wind, or what I'm going to do here is use an iron. And again, allow the wind to carry the ball, not into the bunkers, hopefully. And then have a nice easy second shot into the green. Put a good swing on that one. Let's just hope it doesn't run through the fairway into the bunker there. I think it should be fine though. And it'll roll with the contour of the fairway into a nice resting spot. So the ball is above my feet here. The wind is moving right to left, and the green is 14 feet up. Now, as we can see, huge red lines up here, which means the ball should, even if it lands up here, roll back towards the cup. So I'm okay with putting the ball here. Remember, the ball is very much above my feet, so it will come out more right with the shot shape, but with the wind, hopefully it pushes it back towards the left, and I'd rather this ball be on the left side than on the right. As you can see, this green falls away from you if you're short, so we want to be up on this ledge here for sure. So if it gets up there, Hopefully it turns and comes back towards the cup a little, which it has. That's looking like maybe an 8-foot putt for birdie, maybe 9-footer here. Down the hill. We've really struggled with these today. Let's see if we can get it near the cup. And again, for I think the 4th or 5th time today, we've left it low and pushed it way beyond the cup. I barely moved the controller there, so like there's a few people that I'm friends with that have recently purchased the game and said the putting is really challenging. And as someone who's played it for a couple of months, I completely agree with you. Putting is a huge challenge in this game, but in fairness, putting is a huge challenge in real life, so they've mimicked reality to a certain extent in the game. Par 3, stroke index 6, down the hill massively, 50-foot drop, and the wind is with us, so we're going to have to, I mean, what do we do here? We can't use a sand wedge, that won't get there. Pitching wedge will, in all likelihood, shoot way over the green. I think our best bet is using a sand wedge and just letting this get on the front edge of the green, because a pitching wedge will probably shoot the green here. So we've drawn the ball a little bit. Just put it. I'm even happy if this is short of the green, because a chip isn't the worst thing in the world. But we've rolled on. This is going to be a big birdie putt. Looks like it goes way right to left. 40-footer. Down. We're way down the hill here, so we have to hit this fairly hard, and it will turn right to left. A little bit left to right in the middle, and then again right to left at the end. So I'm going to aim up here. Didn't quite get it close. Those big putts can be a real challenge. Okay, hit this one most of the way. Well, it's a double break, so I'll just put this right near it. Big par putt here. Ooh, left to the cup. I was trying to hit it sort of through the break as a double break there. Those can be extra challenging. Now we've got a massive bogey putt. Oh, and it never turned. It never turned. And these can be challenging holes. You know, these short or long par 3s can really challenge you because of the elevation change. And I'm back to over par with that double bogey. But these things happen. We move on. This is the easiest hole in the course. Stroke index 18. It's a par 5 way down the hill. We're against the wind, unfortunately. So we'll just put it a little bit on the left here. It looks like the contour of the fairway will bring this ball a little bit to the right, hopefully. And we've pushed it on the swing path, but should be fine. We do want it as much on the left side of the fairway as possible because of the fact the tree line is sort of in our way. Okay, so a 3-wood. This is down 48 feet, but we're against the wind. Let's get there with a 2-iron and see if we can roll it onto the green. That's a wonky swing path. Again, sometimes I'm confused by the pathing in this game. Definitely not what it looked like on my controller, but that's how it's picked it up. So we're in the greenside bunker, and a little bit of a chip onto the green. It'll roll left to right, and then towards the cup. We're in the sand, so it should land at the beginning of this circle. Roll left to right. And unfortunately, we've hit the false front of the green, and it'll roll back quite significantly. Now long birdie putt. 40 feet up the hill, left to right the whole way, looks like. And have we hit it hard enough? We haven't, unfortunately. Just go above the hole here. We're going to hit it hard, so through the break. Oh, and unfortunately it just broke at the last second. And another bogey on the card. On the easiest hole in the course. A little bit disappointing, but we move on to the 16th. Par 3, another long one. Stroke index 2, and you can see why. Greenside bunker at the front, as well as some shrubbery. It's up 51 feet. So even though we have the wind with us, I'm fairly certain a 3-iron's not going to get there. Let's use a 2, and let's aim it to the big part of the green here. A little more room to contend with. Obviously, we don't want to be in that bunker or in the shrubbery here, the rocks that are greenside. We have a little bit of a bailout to the left if we wanted to use that, but let's see if we can put it on this tier of the green up here. Well, let's aim it a little bit to the left here. Decent swing on it. Does it get up there? Looks like it will. And it turns out to be a great shot. See if we can make a par here. Second hardest hole in the course. Be very happy with the par. Down the hill, right to left, so sliding away from us. And it's going to be below the hole again. Hopefully this doesn't slide too far. As you can see, that just goes that extra 5 feet when it's going down the hill. And that's just the break taking that ball away from you. Okay, up the hill, we're going to aim left edge of the cup. And there we go. A decent par. And we've now had some good strokes on the hardest holes on the course. The hardest hole, we got the par there. And then on that second hardest one, another par. Third hardest hole on the course, we had a birdie. So we've done quite well on those. And we're here with a stroke index 4. So another challenging hole. We got to be careful that we don't put this one in the water. We have the wind with us. We want to use that wind. Let's just be safe here with this first shot. 3 wood. And it'll roll up towards the front of this fairway here. And let's now use this wind to get us close to this pin. It's up 5 feet, but we're with the wind here. Obviously a tiered green, as you can see the false fronts. And it falls away to the left here. It's up 5 feet, so let's just put it here and utilize this wind to our advantage. Ball is just a little above our feet, so let's put it right there. Put a good swing on it. Now let's see how much it falls to the left. Hopefully it gets up where we need it to go on this tier. It does take a favorable kick, and again, looks like we'll be within maybe 10 feet if this rolls back. Okay, so maybe 20 feet, which gives us another good chance for a par on a challenging hole. Moving left to right, up the hill just slightly. Don't want to hit it too hard. And wow, we birdied it. So that puts us, I believe, back at level par. No, we're still 1 over. Okay, 1 over through 17. And on the 3rd and 4th hardest holes on the course, I've made a birdie. So going against the grain, I suppose, but we've had favorable wind conditions, I would say, on the hard holes. Wind is a huge factor in this game, so really keep in mind as you're setting up your shot how that's going to influence the outcome of those strikes. And I'm going to use the contour of the fairway to roll this ball away from the fairway bunker and give us a 150-yard shot into the final hole, the clubhouse just up there on the left. Let's use this wind. As you can see, there's a false front on the green. We want to avoid that. Now the ball is below our feet, so it'll come out a little bit to the right. See if we can avoid this false front if possible. I'm worried that this is going to hit the false front and run away from us. Thankfully it stayed. And it's 10 feet, maybe 15 feet for birdie, 15 feet on the nose. Run just a little bit right to left. See if we can end with a nice par on the final hole at the Kermode Club in Whistler, British Columbia. Oh, we've just slid it by there on the birdie putt. So it will be a par, 1 over, through 18. On an awesome course by Crazy Canuck, 1985. It's called the Kermode Club if you're looking for it. Just reminds me of a real Whistler course. Tons of fun, bit of a challenge. Hope you've learned something from this video. If you have, drop it a like. If you're new and you've enjoyed the content, you want to see more of the Golf Club 2019, as well as other gameplay videos that we're doing here, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.